Hello everyone and welcome to Cook With Me Live tonight. I am so excited. This is a very special version of Cook With Me Live. Don't know exactly how it's all going to go. We're going to have fun tonight. We're going to play, and the reason being is that it's recently been my birthday. So I guess you could say this is the birthday Cook With Me Live. And I do have a couple of surprises in store for you tonight. So as you guys are logging in, please give me a little hello, say hi, let me know who's in the kitchen with you, where you're cooking from today, and maybe share this on to a friend of yours because I'm thinking it's going to be a good one. So I want to introduce you guys to the first surprise and the second surprise in no particular order. Come on in, ladies. Welcome my besties, Jess and Danielle. Thank you for being on Cook With Me Live.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So everyone, please give them a warm welcome because this is their very first time on Cook With Me Live, and you know, they're probably feeling how I felt on my first one. And we also tonight really want to be able to connect with you, and like I said, we're not doing a super complicated recipe tonight, so I just really want to make sure that we can answer questions, we can have a chat with you about things that are real in your life. These two women are both amazing mothers to these amazing children that I thankfully get to be Auntie Ashley to. I feel very privileged. Yeah. And they both run their own businesses, they both have big full-on lives, and it's so, I see so many similarities in, I guess, their lives to many of your lives. So now's the time, let's have a chat about it. We're going to be making some lemon poppy cakes, aka lemon poppy seed muffins. And I don't think you guys have, well, you wouldn't have had, because I just kind of created this recipe a couple of weeks ago. There we go.
Can't wait.
So lemon poppy seed cakes, and we're going to do a bit of a bonus, another surprise, a bit of a bonus icing. Now the recipe is actually not written for this. So we're going to just play and we're going to figure it out. And the purpose of this is to put myself on the spot. Well, not really. It might be a total flop. So we're just saying that straight up the bat. But we're going to play with an icing because generally speaking, I want to show you that it can be pretty straightforward to make a dairy-free kind of whole food healthy icing. And they've brought some special little goodies. We're going to decorate them all at the end too. So there's lots of little surprises along the way. Give me a little hello. Hello, Jess's mom. Hello.
Hi, Mom. Hi, kids.
Cool. Okay, so why don't we get started? Do you guys have any questions? Should we pour a cup of tea? Cup of wine? A glass of wine?
I think maybe a cup of tea. Cup of tea. Would go well. Cupcakes.
Come on. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Now, closest baking experience most recently for you guys. I'm curious. What's been the most recent thing in the kitchen? I didn't prep them for this question, by the way.
No, I know, right? Crickets.
Probably for us, some stuff with Annika's schooling. So we've had to bake the alphabet and get her to make the cookie dough, and then she spells out her name and does the A and that sort of thing.
That.
Yeah, so that's been really good.
What's that?
And what kind of cookies was it?
Just a basic recipe.
Just a plain cookie.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. What have you guys been concocting?
We did some raw chocolate again, which is a really big favourite. And I kind of overcooked it towards the end, so then we just turned it into these muffiny things. So it kind of all turned out in the end. But our big favourite is Play-Doh, which is probably the same with Annika. Like, they love helping make it as well as, actually.
And are you still doing the gluten-free Play-Doh?
Yes. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. And
did you guys know you can do gluten-free Play-Doh? Yeah. Why not? It's just different flour. Yeah. I love that. Love that. Just in case they decide to eat it. Okay, so guys, let's jump straight in. We did a little bit of I wouldn't call it a cheat because I actually call it an efficiency technique. And I've pre-mixed up all of the dry ingredients. So in case you haven't got this far in your recipe yet, maybe at home while we're kind of gabbing away, you could be putting together the dry ingredients for the recipe. It's going to be fairly straightforward. The only recommendation I'll give on the dry ingredients, and as you guys have probably discovered this already, is when you're baking with flour, flour compacts a lot, or it can be really fluffy in the cup if you measure by volume, right? So I've given the weight on the flour. So if you're measuring something by volume, it can be really different in weight, which can make your cupcakes either really runny and kind of too wet versus really hard. So if you have kitchen scales, I'd recommend you go by weight. Mm-hmm. And then this is a trick that you guys have already got onto a couple of premixes already, I'm pretty sure. It saves a lot of time, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it sounds really silly, but it's going back and getting that flour and that flour and that flour, and then it's just like one scoop then.
Exactly.
It's not 6 or 7 and then having to take them all back to the pantry. It's just one jar.
Exactly.
So much easier.
And you can do this with anything. So although this jar is technically labeled croutons, it's not. It's lemon poppy cakes premix of the dry mix. I don't quite have a label for that yet.
You should
but
get some of those amazing labels.
yeah. Do you know where to get them?
Yeah, she's got some really nice ones.
Do you know the website? I probably don't even remember the website. We'll put it on the details after. Hello, Glenda. Welcome tonight. Thank you so much for being on. Glenda said hello to Dan. Oh, yes, because you've met Glenda. We've done a pantry flip together. Aww. Very cool. So we're going to do our dry ingredients from the premix, and we're going to measure in, I think it's about 650 grams of the dry mix for the recipe. So if you're doing up, Glenda, I imagine you probably could be doing this now, a double batch of your dry ingredients, so you have some for next time. Okay, so can I get your guys' help in the wet ingredients? Do you want to start? This is just a mixture of coconut cream and some of my homemade almond milk that I defrosted in the fridge today. It's not pretty looking, but it's really tasty. So if you could do maybe the 1.5 cups of that, please. And Jess, do you want to hook us up with about 5 tablespoons of chia seeds into that when Danielle gets that happening? Thank you. And we've got some special coloring too that we're going to be doing for the icing. So I'm going to save that one as a surprise till the end, seeing as I gave away all the other surprises in the very beginning. So we're going to show you how to make this the most bright, vibrant, amazing, cool colors as we do this too. Okay, so another tool you're going to need, if you've never done zesting of lemons or citrus or anything before, you can get yourself a microplane, or you can just use a really fine grater, which would look something like this. So either of these options, you might have a large version of that, but try and find the fine grated one. That's going to be the quickest. I think the microplanes are the faster because they're quite a bit sharper.
I like the microplane.
All right, so let's do 5 tablespoons of chia seeds into there. There you go. Awesome. And that's going to start to clump up pretty quick, so I'll get you guys to stir that every now and then. And another thing then with when it comes to, I don't know, those of you, if you guys have noticed in this recipe, there's no eggs, there's no butter, which are, generally ingredients that make a cupcake or a muffin very nice and easy to work with. So I tried to kind of make this really kids lunchbox friendly. There's no eggs, there's no nuts. And I guess to that effect, we have to work with the recipe in different ways. So as you guys are probably already aware, when you guys are doing all pretty much gluten-free cooking and stuff as well. You have to behave differently with the recipe. So we're going to be using the chia seeds as a bit of a binder instead of the egg. And they're also going to give a little bit of extra moisture to the muffins so that we don't end up with the traditional gluten-free rock the next day. Who wants to zest some lemons?
Happy to do that.
All right, there we go. Very sharp, please be careful. So we're going to zest them up. Actually, why don't we do the difference between the two? Are you guys able to get in there?
Yeah.
Get nice and cozy?
Nice lemon.
Very cool.
Race you. We'll see which grade is the better.
And so with the pith is the white bit underneath the rind. Okay, so the rind is the yellow bit, the pith is the white, and the pith is the bitter part. So we try to get as much of the yellow as we can with the least amount of white that we can. So you're just kind of rotating as these girls are doing.
Nice.
It's fast,
Look
isn't
how
it?
it comes out.
And it's so sharp.
And so delicate.
And it's really fine, isn't it?
And
Yeah, it's a lot more work with that one, I find. So it just goes to show, this is like the prime example that having the right tool for the job can actually make this doable or a pain in the bum, right? Mm-hmm. So if it's too painful, Jess, we can switch over to the other one. But isn't it interesting, right? Like you can imagine that a lot of people are probably just putting up with the things that they have only because they don't feel they're going to do it often. But by not having that right tool, you're actually going to do it a lot less than you could.
Yeah, that looks so effortless. You're just like,
I
had to get muscle in there.
Do you think if you did a whole heap of the lemon rind, you'd be able to freeze it?
Definitely.
Freeze some of it and use it?
And, that's that one extra step of organization. But if a person could get so organized as to have all of, your citrus juice or grated, zested before you use it for juice, then you'd be throwing away a lot less and getting a lot of benefit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize, guys, that the flavor...
Yeah, I'll try. I'll see how it
Nice. Just be, watch your thumb.
Smoother too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the lemon flavor actually comes from the rind, whereas the acidity comes from the juice. So if you want that lemon flavor, like that really nice, strong lemon flavor, which this should provide for you in this recipe, then we want the rind. And I know it's that extra step, it takes a bit longer, but it's worth it for the flavor. All right, so do you want to maybe start juicing for us there, please?
How much more of this do we need?
We're probably going to go the full 3 lemons, maybe. Just, I love it really lemony. We're going to...
Yeah, me too.
I do think it makes a difference. So, I was thinking back to having your little ones in the kitchen.
Which could be great or a disaster.
Or a total disaster.
Good entertainment.
Yeah, oh, exactly. And what, I guess, I'm curious to know what you guys think would be the most important part of getting them in the kitchen now. Because I know there's an obvious answer, but I feel like there's more.
I think it's just keeping them on track with the way that we've been feeding Grace, really, for us, and keeping her involved in that and understanding, maybe actually even more, maybe understanding how much preparation goes into cooking a meal and to appreciate it every single time. I mean, she's a good eater, but still there's those some days where it's like, I don't feel like that. It's like, just spent a long time making it. So I think that might be nice.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that. And so when she does get involved in the meal, do you find she's more likely to try it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. And when we do pizzas at home, I think that's her favourite because it's a more relaxed night. We're not usually in a rush because it's a weekend night, so she can actually help cut and she helps put it on, and I feel like she eats that more than anything else because she's helped. Yeah.
Exactly. And one thing I have noticed that both of you do really well with your kids is talk to them about food and where it comes from.
Yeah.
And you even go one step further and show them where it's grown or what it's called and how to distinguish between the mint plant and the basil plant.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Annika's very good at that.
what did she come up with the other day that you were telling me?
She's
and then
always
you had
making
one too.
concoctions, like she wants to make her own teas and just gets in there with her spoon in her water and puts all the different, and I have to taste it. Sometimes it's a bit scary, but it's interesting.
Kind of encourage it.
Yeah.
What did Grace come up with the other day about the plant that she found? Oh, the mother of all herb.
Oh, mother of herb.
Mother of herb.
Yeah, and she found a succulent the other day. She goes, Mummy, is this mother
That's
of
one.
herb?
That was this one.
No. Yes, it was the one we put on your birthday present. No, but it's very close.
So the fact that a not quite 4-year-old would look at something like this, see the big juicy leaves and go, is that mother of herb?
Which isn't just your general herb either, really.
No, I love that. So I think, for me, the moral of that story and seeing the way you guys have done that with your girls kids, is just involving them. And I think that's my biggest, the easiest way to make a kid not a picky eater. And I know they go through phases, and I know that there's going to be times where they're going to be picky about stuff no matter what, because it's probably more to do with control issues than, the actual food itself.
And that's one thing. When, I let Annika help, she's more likely to eat it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because, there's that element that she's helped. So, and the effort that's put into it. And the secret ingredient, love.
Someone was just telling me about that. You have to have the jar in the pantry that doesn't have anything in it, but it's got love on the label.
We just kind of go,
that's a bit cute.
That's awesome.
Right, how many of these am I doing?
Okay, so we only need about 150 mils. So let's just get a bit of see how we got little chunkies of chunkies of chia?
Too much talking.
That's all right. We're just going to break that up and kind of mix that into the mix. So if you guys have been talking or distracted too, we just need to break up those chia chunks so that we don't end up with that in our mix. Now, I guess if you're using a Thermomix to do your blending for this, that won't be an issue. But because we're just going to do this by hand tonight, we just need to break up those chia chunks a little bit so they don't all end up in one dry pile in the muffins. Okay, so let's just get a measurement on that, and then we'll add up to 150 mils. So we're at about 450 now, so we'll go up to about 600. There we go. If we go a little bit more, it just means we're going to have a more lemony muffin that's going to be a little bit more moist as a... You can add that into the tea. Okay, so there's a cool chemical reaction happening now. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on the camera, but the milk, as soon as I poured that in, it instantly thickened. And that acidity that we're getting from the lemon is exactly what we want to react with the baking soda and the baking powder that's going to be in the dry mix to create the nice lift on the muffins that we want. So the reason why we mix it all together here is because it's going to start to essentially create like a bit of a buttermilk texture. It's going to kind of, not curdle, but it starts to form that buttermilk thickening. And that generally makes a better muffin or a better cupcake consistency or a better pancake or all that. So that's a benefit. We want that to thicken up and to sit in there for a little bit. The chia seed kind of slows that down a little bit, but that's all right. Okay, what's next? Can I have a teaspoon of vanilla, please? And we might as well put the coconut oil straight in there. Let's do 1/3 of a cup, please, Danielle. I think I might need to have you guys back all the time. Yes, I don't have to do anything.
Vanilla, like this.
Cool, hey.
Yeah.
Hard to come by nowadays.
Really?
There was apparently an organic vanilla shortage in the world for like the last year or something. All the crops got wiped out with a big storm somewhere, and I don't know the story. But the funny story with that, talking about shopping differently, those of you that have heard me go on and on and on about shopping differently and ordering in bulk, I knew that organic vanilla powder was quite expensive, so I decided to order it in bulk, and that meant I had to buy a kilo at a time.
Wow.
Which was about $350 for a bag of organic vanilla powder. But because I was doing a fairly big kind of once-off order, there was a fair few other things in my shopping cart. I didn't realize that there was accidentally 2 of them in my shopping cart. So a couple of years ago, I ordered $700 in organic vanilla powder by accident, and I'm still going through it. But it's nice.
That's not a bad thing.
No
So we
shortage
just put $40 of vanilla powder.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible.
Not quite, but you
It
wouldn't
does
want to
smell beautiful
drop
though.
it.
Yeah. So can
Definitely
you
worth it.
normally taste the difference from the, normally the liquid one to...
It's subtle,
Okay.
but yeah, I guess you're not getting the alcohols or the colors or the numbers or the other things. Most extracts are fine. If you get a certified organic vanilla extract, you should be fine. So, okay. And we forgot to preheat the oven, so I'm going to go do that to, we'll go do that to about 180. You might even start it off a bit hotter at first if you've forgotten like we have. So we might kick it off at 200 degrees and turn it down when we put them in. So nothing complicated there. We'll just turn that on. But the one thing I do want to say is when we put the cupcakes into the oven, we want to make sure that they're nowhere above the middle of the oven. So we want them to be just below the middle of the oven. Otherwise the tops will burn, the bottoms won't cook.
Yeah.
So we'll keep it down low. We should be set for that. Okay, and magic drops. Let's go about 3 drops. Now, totally an optional step, guys. You do not need to put in the essential oil. This is just purely a thing that I'm doing. I'm not saying for you guys to do this. And definitely, if in any way, shape, or form you are going to use an essential oil in any internal application, as in cooking, make sure it's a food grade quality one. So, and that's just to give it that little extra oomph. Because of that amount of zest we had, we probably didn't need that. But it's just that extra nice little thing if you wanted to. Okay, so that's pretty much set. We're ready to add some dry ingredients. Let's weigh that out. Then we get to make some icing. Okay, so Jess, do you want to give us 650 grams, please, of the premix? Now, for those of you that have never seen a premix in action, as in you don't need to now have 6 or 7 jars out, it's pretty nice to use. So I've got premixes now for pizza crusts. As you saw the croutons thing, that was either a premix or actual made croutons. What are some premixes you're liking at the moment?
We like the pizza.
Pizza one.
We
Nice.
do the pizza.
650.
Oh, that's good. Or a little bit more.
Just a little
Let's
bit.
just do this. There we go. Because we don't want too dry muffins. There we go. Perfect. Magic little touch. Okay, now one little trick with this thing, and generally speaking, whenever you're using a recipe and relying on the baking soda and the acid, in this case lemon juice, to create the bubbles, we need to like stir really quickly. So let's make sure we're all ready to go. Now it's probably going to make just a little bit more than the 12 cupcakes, so I just have a little extra mini cake that we're going to pour the extras in if we have it. So once I get it all mixed, then do you ladies want to grab some spoons and help me scoop them in? Okay, you might need a couple. How's everyone going? Is everyone ahead of us so far? Hi, Catherine. Awesome. All right, here we go. I think we had everything. We had the 1.5 cups of liquid, our lemon juice, beautiful oil. Here we go. And I don't have my trusty spatula. Jess, would you mind grabbing me a spatula from the back there? Oh, yes, thank you. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so let's get this happening as quickly as we can.
You can smell that now.
The lemon, hey?
Yeah. Oh, yum.
Okay. All right. Scoop away.
And it mixed quite easily too, actually.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
Yeah.
By the time the dry mix is already done, it just
Yeah.
goes a lot quicker, I find.
And it's really light and fluffy, because sometimes, you know, with muffins, it can be really heavy and dense. But this is
Yeah, so we kind of want to preserve those bubbles. You guys are doing a great job. Look at this. I don't have to do anything. This is awesome.
Hey, it is your birthday.
True.
Yeah. You can relax a little tonight.
Just a little.
Should I keep filling, or?
Maybe just a touch more. A little bit on the top.
I was
No,
the
that should be
piggy
good.
and I filled mine.
That's
all the
good.
way.
That's all right. We'll just have some
I'll
different
have one
shapes.
of yours then.
Yeah.
Add a little bit to that one. Okay, let's make the rest into a cake. A little mini B-Day cake. So it's probably a different texture to what many of you are used to for baking or for cupcakes. What about you guys? Does it look quite different? I find with the chia it looks a little bit different too.
I'm a really big fan of crunchy texture cakes and muffins and things though. Like if I can get heaps of nuts in there and that's my thing. I've never even before we became Whole Foods,
Didn't want the
wasn't
plain
really
cake.
into that plain fluffy light, no texture stuff. So to me this is perfect.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Straight into the oven. Here we go. I'll put that one after. So ideally, these would have been going into a temperature ready oven. So an oven that was already completely at temperature. So ours just might not be as pretty on top. Normally that gets a better rise because you get the crustiness forming on top, which then supports it as it rises and it doesn't sink in after. So if you get really sunken muffins, chances are it didn't go into a hot oven, or you maybe overmixed it a little bit. So just some little tips and tricks. Okay, but now we get to do the fun bit, which is the icing. So let's get that ready. I'm gonna have another cup of tea. How's everyone going? It's pretty quiet on there. Denise, you should be here. Hello, Denise. Say hello. All right, well, let's cheers to everyone that's online with us tonight. Thank you, guys. Thank you, ladies. Cheers. Maybe you're having a wine, we're having a tea.
Is there lemon in here as well?
It's lemon myrtle.
Yeah, good pickup.
Got the lemon tea happening.
From a tree near you.
My brother's got trees.
From a tree near you.
From a tree near you.
Okay, guys, we're making icing. Now this is where we go completely off. Well, there's no script anyways, but off recipe. There's no recipe for this. So the intention with this is that we're going to be making a macadamia cashew style icing.
Yeah.
Have you guys done any of those before?
Yeah, something.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried and it didn't work very well. So
Great.
I haven't really tried it again.
That's why
So
I brought
I'm
you in
hoping that
tonight.
This will, so poor Grace gets them without icing. Sorry, Grace.
Awesome. Okay, so I've got some macadamia nuts and some cashews soaking. If anyone wants to write anything down, we could probably give you what we've done. However, it might change as we go. So I started out with about 2/3 of a cup of each macadamias and then 2/3 of a cup of the cashews. And they've been soaking for a few hours now just in water, so they've kind of plumped up a little bit. And we're just going to drain them off, please. There's a strainer there if you'd like. Drain them off, we're going to add them in. And then pretty much the key with using, I guess, these soaked nuts for an icing is we just have to get it, we just have to get it to be thick enough and obviously icing tasting. So sweet enough is usually what makes that. So I think we'll use a combination of the maple syrup and the rice bran syrup. So this is an organic rice malt syrup, which I don't use often, but in the case of icing, I'm going to call it better than using icing sugar. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
It still is a very highly processed sugar, but it's apparently one of the better ones because it doesn't have the fructose in it. Okay, so I want to try and add any liquids that I've got to add. I'm speaking to you guys because I'm pretty sure these ladies know this already, and they're just waiting to eat cupcakes. So I'm just going to add the liquid version in the form of the sweetener, so I don't have to add any water or any, I guess, milks if I can get away with that, because we want to keep this as thick as possible. So we'll just start with that. We'll blend it up. We'll see how it goes. But I'm also going to add in some maple syrup because this is going to give more of the caramelly, vanilla-y sort of flavor. And I thought because we had such lemony cupcakes, I didn't really want the flavor of this to be lemony as well. Some people like to do that. So I was thinking we could go a little bit more caramelly, vanilla-y. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Caramel's always nice.
Caramel?
Caramel's always good.
All right, so we're really off improvising here. So I need to now go get my caramel list of ingredients. So bear with me.
Caramel is such a thing, right? And it's really tricky to make nice
Say that again, I
caramel.
didn't hear you.
Healthy caramel.
Caramel's such a thing. So it's, healthy caramel is tricky to get that flavour.
Well, let's play. This could totally flop on us. So to achieve a healthy caramel flavor, we're going to aim to look at maca powder and lucuma, okay, and/or, as well as more maple. Generally speaking, I find that's what we're going to... Okay, so I shouldn't do my usual thing. I should probably measure in case we hit on a good one here. So let's start with maca's. Maca's a little bit of a acquired taste. So we'll start with half a teaspoon of that one, but we'll do a full teaspoon of the lucuma for now. How about? Are you guys using lucuma?
Yes.
Yeah? Have you ever tasted a fresh lucuma?
No.
Oh, so good. Got to go to South America for that,
What's the
though.
texture like?
It's kind of like a black sapote.
Oh,
And for people that don't know what that is, I'm trying to think. Custard apple?
Not as stringy as a custard
Not as stringy.
apple,
It's much more pudding-like,
Yeah.
and it's bright orange, like
Like a mud cake pudding. kind of.
that orange
Oh, wow.
inside in the flesh of the fruit, and it tastes really caramelly. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And I don't know why that we can't, I don't know, maybe they just can't ship them. Maybe they can't
get them
import them. Okay, a couple of the tricks to an icing is generally a pinch of salt. It's not to make it taste salty, it's just to bring up the flavors and to make it actually taste sweeter in some cases. So let's just put a little...
That's one thing I do remember, back in the day when we used to cook in the kitchen, when you would make something sweet, you would put...
Yes.
Pinch of salt?
Yeah, and I would just think, right.
Little trick.
So now I think of you, like when we make chocolate at home and stuff.
Yeah.
I
okay.
always think, Ashley would put a little pinch of salt on it.
So I'm interested to hear, because I don't always have the best long-term memory. So can you refresh my memory on like a dish that we made ages ago that stands out in your mind? Like when we were initially cooking in the kitchen, what was something that really we would create?
The monkey plates were always fun.
Just a bit mix of
Yeah,
everything.
and your dips, like just
She's good for her
dips.
dips.
And
They
when
like me
I
for
make
my
a
dips.
salad, it's
We're
boring.
just friends with her for her dips.
I'm
Those
surprised.
dips. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about for you? Because I seem to remember initially, and we go back like 10 years, both of us.
Yeah.
These ladies have been with me since I first moved to Australia. They were my, very first friends that welcomed me into this scary, crazy land of big spiders and things that'll kill you everywhere you look.
So dramatic.
That's what they make you believe. Where were we? No, I was going to ask you, do you remember anything that... I always remember your rice
wraps. The start of my journey, actually. I feel like, and it sounds like I'm like meant to be saying it, but I feel like you were the reason that I really pushed myself to start on a healthier journey.
Didn't realize that.
Yeah. I mean,
stop, you're not supposed to make me cry.
But yeah, I think you just really inspired me, because I think both you and Matt were doing like a really full-on raw food thing at the time. And I was like, oh my God, that's so extreme. But now I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, and you know, it's really cool. Yeah,
I think that was the monkey plate days.
Was it? The monkey plate days. I don't know what monkey plates are. I feel like I'm just out on
all this chopped up raw
it's just
stuff.
random food on a plate.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can pick and grab. You make them for Grace every night for dinner.
Yeah.
You should see these dinners. Oh gosh, it's amazing. It's nothing more exciting than seeing a 3-and-a-bit-year-old get excited about eating individual lentils off of her plate.
Wrapping the lentils in the lettuce leaves the other week.
And then dipping some, what did she get? Goat's cheese, which was actually coconut yogurt with cumin and lemon in it.
Nice.
Putting a bit of goat's cheese on. Oh, it was so
And
cute.
I had to apologise to Matt and Ashley. I was like, I'm really sorry if you guys didn't get any lettuce leaves, because Grace could put these lettuce leaves to wrap her lentils in. I'm sure it's a fine problem to have. We still have our days though, don't get me wrong, we still have those days.
So beautiful. And they didn't start out as perfect eaters, but it certainly helped out that you guys had this information from when they were young. So thank you on behalf of them. One day they will thank you, even if there's complaints. Where were we? We've got a little bit of caramelly flavor. We've got a little bit of liquid from the sweetener. We could put in a little pinch of lemon. Okay, that was the thing. We're not going to make it taste lemony, but I think a pinch of lemon will actually take away the kind of the cashew flavor or the edge from that. It's not much, but we're talking maybe a teaspoon, half a teaspoon even. And I think we start with that, and we'll see what texture we get, and we'll add as we go. So let's pop that guy onto the blender. And we definitely need the stir stick. All right, so I'm gonna jump over here. Okay, so be loud, sorry guys. Okay, so when you start this out, it's kind of intentional to not add as much liquid as you need initially, because we're not going to take this to the same sort of liquidiness of a smoothie or anything, but generally speaking, you'll get a smoother result if we can start out with a little bit less liquid and let it really work the stuff down the bottom. Is it smelling?
Good.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot vanilla. Can we add a little bit more vanilla powder in that, please?
Why not? There's plenty here.
There's more out back.
What are you thinking?
Half a teaspoon, maybe one of those. So unfortunately, with this one, it's gonna put little specks of stuff in it, but we're gonna cover it up with color after. Okay, now we need a little bit more liquid, obviously, to make that mix happen, but we want to be really careful with how much we add. So because we're making an icing and we want it to be kind of creamy, I'd probably err on the side of adding coconut cream or non-dairy milk or something like that over water, but obviously you can add water. The only thing we don't know yet is whether or not it's sweet enough. So we might have to add more sweeteners, and because they're liquid, we just want to be a little bit careful. So I'm just going to have a quick little taste of that, a little sneaky little, want to have a taste? So.
Oh yeah.
Is it going to be sweet enough as an icing though?
Yeah,
I
think so.
Our palates are adjusted.
Yeah.
Does it need a little more drizzle of maple?
I feel like some people would probably want it a bit sweeter.
If it was a kid.
Yeah.
If it was my birthday.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. Yep, add more.
The kid comes out.
Yeah.
All right, and we'll just need probably a touch of, in this case, coconut and almond cream just to get it to blend nice and smooth for us. So I didn't measure any of that. I'm sorry for anyone watching. Maybe these guys can remember what I actually did. And
A splash and a dash.
We'll have to play it back and try and measure it
oh,
through the
that's
video.
a good idea. That's a good idea. There we go. So
There's not really a right or a wrong though.
No.
Like you can always fix it.
it's all about texture, right?
Yeah.
It's just if you get the texture and you don't let it go too thin, runny,
Yeah.
and you get the sweetness right, you've got icing.
Yeah.
I reckon. So it's that simple. The unfortunate thing is that unless you have a really high-speed blender, this is going to end up, so this is the texture that most blenders are going to leave it at. So it's still got chunks, and maybe a lot of kids wouldn't call that icing. But if we keep this going, this blender is going to make this like super smooth.
And if it's really sweet, that it'll pass.
True.
I feel like the chunkier it is, the more it'll probably stay up as opposed to kind of smush and
Yes.
run down the sides anyway.
That's fair, yeah. But I definitely want a smooth icing, and this
Yeah,
machine's
yeah.
capable of it. We just need to let it do it. So I don't know if you got a close up of that, but as far as the texture goes, I mean, you could definitely call that, good. We haven't colored it yet, but I think we just need to let it go a little bit longer and show you what this blender can do. Basically, let the machine do the work is the key there. While we drink tea. It might even need another round. Let's see. Is it creamy smooth? I think one more.
It's sort of like nut butter texture at the moment.
Yeah, we need to go super smooth. I was just saying that Denise is with us because she gave me this teapot.
Oh, I thought so.
Is it good? Nice and smooth? Okay, have a taste.
Yeah.
So don't worry about the color
yeah.
yet, guys. We're going to change the color. Don't worry about that.
That's good.
That's
So that's
really
sweet enough.
smooth.
It's quite smooth. Okay, we don't have little chunky bits cropping up in there.
It's really tasty.
Yeah.
That's good. And don't forget too that the blender's warmed it up significantly, so by the time it chills in the fridge, it's going to hold really well. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Hence the shirt. Okay, guys, this is organic pink pitaya powder. Look at that. Pitaya means dragon fruit in fancy language. And oh my gosh, I just can't believe how bright that is. I don't know if the camera's going to do that justice, but that is bright. So I have never used this before. So we are going to play. And I don't know how much to add. Not really. So we'll just figure it out as we go.
Yeah.
See how much it takes to get bright pink. What do you reckon? Is that about a half a teaspoon?
Yeah.
Do you think more? Double? I think we're going to need more than that.
Yeah.
Double or nothing.
Let's get Larry.
There's so many other ways too, guys, that you can color icing and color sprinkles. So have you guys been doing any of this with the kids yet? Because I need to get them on, don't I, to do a Cook With Me Live. I need to play around with that. But there's so many other ways. Did you know that if you stew down purple cabbage and just get the liquid, like concentrated liquid, and then you add a pinch of baking soda to it, it goes bright blue.
Really? Wow.
Bright blue.
We don't need fake colours.
do not.
We just don't. Nature's given them to us.
It is incredible.
It's amazing.
Work your magic, please. I don't know if we're gonna need more of that probably. Yeah. Oh, it's already on. Yeah, and then 35. We're gonna need some more.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting there though. Got a nice rose pink happening. Okay.
I think if we need to match your shirt, we need more.
Gonna need the whole bottle. There we go. Hopefully it'll taste a bit like dragon fruit then too. This reminds me of the festival in India, the Festival of Color. You see when they throw the powder all over the street and the paints, and everyone just gets covered in bright colors. Well, it'll be extra super smooth. Okay, well, it's not quite my shirt,
Pretty.
but I think it's very pretty, yes.
So pretty.
What do you think? Should we add a little bit more?
What do you think, Jess?
That's nice.
I think it's pretty.
Yeah.
Nice gentle rose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing
Because
as
then those bright ones will look nice
Yeah.
on top.
so cool.
Wow.
All right, so let's put that into a bowl. Thank you. Beautiful. Oh, actually, you can lick that. Okay. Oh, and you can still see the beautiful vanilla flecks actually. So we've got some nice little flecks of organic vanilla batter. All right. So it's not quite my shirt, but we could have probably added a bit more. The nice thing about dragon fruit is the flavor is not super overwhelming. Now we could get really fancy and we could put this into a piping bag, but I think we're just going to have fun icing it individually.
It's one less thing to wash then.
Yes, and it's one more way that the kids can help out too. They can, if they ice their own cupcakes, well, you might not actually get to save any for the platter, but you might have them down. And don't leave any icing behind. That's why you need a trusty spatula or two. Okay, I'm happy with that color.
I think it's nice.
You guys are happy with the texture and the flavor?
The texture is amazing.
And I don't think it changed
The
the
taste?
flavour at all.
Okay, cool. Excellent. That's a good sign. So, as everyone probably knows, we can't not ice hot cupcakes. So here's some we prepared earlier. Income stage. There we go. Now, in all fairness, guys, as you know, well, those of you that know me fairly well probably know that I guinea pig at every opportunity possible so I can learn something new. So this recipe that you're seeing in front of you is actually not lemon. I did orange with these ones. And the interesting thing is that orange is nowhere near as acidic as lemon. So they didn't actually rise as much. So they're a little bit more dense than the lemon ones, believe it or not. They still, you know, they're still good. They're still cupcakes. They're still iceable. They didn't sink in the middle, which is exciting. Yeah, so they're iceable. But yeah, interesting observation. So yes, to answer, I guess, that question that nobody's asked me yet, is you can do orange instead of lemon, but you'll just get a slightly denser muffin. So it made only 12 versus, you know, us getting 12 plus a little mini cake.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Wow.
The batter was just a lot noticeably denser with the orange.
We'll definitely have to have one of each then.
All right, get into it. Let's ice.
Oh, you've got your duck one. I think you should show everyone your duck knife.
Heck, you know, it's my birthday. Go for it. I'm curious to see the different techniques too, because it's not often I get to ice cupcakes. I eat them before it's too late. So this would work in a piping bag, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
It might have to be chilled for a little bit in the fridge.
I feel like I'd chill it first.
I always find that you know, sometimes in a piping bag, I don't know, maybe I do it wrong, but it's always messy, and I find that I waste so much as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm happy with that, and then we get to decorate.
There's always that bit that seems to get stuck in the bottom.
So, in perfect honesty, ladies, would this be too much work for you to do with the kids? Or would this just be something that was like maybe once every 3 months instead of once every, like what?
I think maybe we'd do it every couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks?
Yeah.
And I mean, there's other ways we could probably make this faster too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Especially with the premix.
Yes.
I mean, there's no excuses.
No. If you have the premix ready to go, you can do it more often.
Awesome. Because this even freezes. So the icing you could just
Yeah.
have frozen plain with the plain color.
Wow.
And then add the color in after. You'd probably have to put it back in the blender so that it actually became smooth again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there'd be ways you could make this a regular thing.
Absolutely.
And at least then you know what they're eating. You know that they're getting real food as opposed to who knows what in a food coloring or in an icing sugar laden thing.
These are nice ones. I like that. It's like the rose.
Swirly swirly.
Yeah.
All right, and then we get to decorate. Oh, I feel so blessed. Thank you for bringing these. So,
It's okay.
what kinds? So you're definitely the queen of edible flowers and the raw wilds, like the wild foods that we can eat. So, what are we eating?
So we've got good old marigolds. These ones here are elderflowers, which I only learnt today.
Cool.
We've got chocolate mint, which is absolutely delicious. And then we just discovered we've got a native lily pilly in our garden. So I've got some lily pilly flowers, which have got like the most, they're almost lemony in a way.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so
Kinda
the flower will then turn into like a bulbous type little berry. And Grace is very excited we've got one.
So dainty.
Is the pollen just on the very tips? That is amazing.
Yeah.
God,
And,
nature's so cool.
And then these ones here, we did have some of these growing, but we had to go and purchase some today because we've used so many. Your roses, like any roses are edible. There's just so many. Have a Google because you'll be walking, even dandelions. You can eat dandelions. You know, it's just, the kids
My
love
dad
that
used to have
too.
dandelion salad as a kid.
Yeah.
Grandma would go make them weed the lawn. They'd pick all the dandelions and they'd have dandelion salad.
Yeah. It's just,
Holy
it's
wow.
so much fun for them too. They're
That
beautiful,
is
aren't
so
they?
fragrant.
That is amazing.
Do you reckon that's the difference between getting organic flowers versus ones that are sprayed with chemicals?
Maybe, yeah.
We
That is
grow
so fragrant.
roses, and they are incredible. You
And
know?
the tiny ones, I feel like they smell better than the big ones too. Yeah.
So would we put a whole one on or do we break it apart?
I think you do whatever you want. You can sprinkle them like confetti, or you can pop a whole one on. I don't think it matters. There's no rules.
Hello, Karen. Welcome. Thank you for being online tonight. I wish you ladies could both meet Karen too. She's just the bomb diggity. You should see what this woman is doing. Thank you, Karen, for sharing your birthday with us and making delicious cakes. Thank you. Are you cooking with us, Karen, or are you just observing our shenanigans? Maybe, Karen, you can give us some advice, or anyone else. Maybe Judy. Judy can give us some advice on how you think we should decorate these, because I think we could do some, what are they called? The shreds of the citrus peel.
Oh, yeah.
We could do something like that, but I think this one deserves to go in the middle. That one is pretty nice.
Yeah,
Look at
that's
that one.
beautiful.
Oh, it's like a rose. Wow.
Yeah. So, whoops. A little
Do it up.
teeny one here.
And I'm going to get a little bit of orange peel. What are they called? Twirls? Zests?
Oh, yeah.
Rings? This one.
Oh, I've never seen one like that before.
Yeah? Which one? What does yours look like?
Well, I don't really use one. I just kind of,
How do you do it?
well, I peel it and then I chop it really, really fine. because-
Wow. Okay, well, here's the tool for the job. So it gives you all the zest.
Oh, look at the zest flying
Bit of
out.
oh, wow, that smells good. We're going to have detoxed insides.
That's cool.
Can you see that zest on the camera? I don't know if you're going to be able to see that.
Lovely.
Little sprays of mist. It's like
Yeah,
lemon mist.
it's like perfume.
It is actually.
Hey.
It's just amazing how much oil is in the skin of the orange.
Yeah.
And how antioxidant and antiviral and antifungal and all that just by breathing that little bit in too. Thanks, Judy. She says she loves the roses, so we just have to decorate with roses. I love that. And you're cooking, Karen. Excellent. So your cupcakes are in the oven, I'm guessing. And hello, we have a Rania. Welcome, Rania. Thank you. Cool. Do you guys want more of these? What else do we need?
Can you show me what the big hole does?
Oh, and then but I'm left-handed. The world is not meant for lefties, so I'm going to have to do my best.
Do you want me to have a go?
Yes, I don't think my brain's going to let me do this way. Oh. Let me just see. I don't think it works. I don't think left-handed works. No, it's definitely meant for a right-handed person. I just can't coordinate right now. Got to dig really hard.
Ooh, we can get like little chunks.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, that's cool. It's like
more of a julienne kind of thing.
Like
and then those of you that are looking at this and wondering, as far as a kid's birthday, like let's talk about little girls' birthdays, or even for the boys, we can do more boy things. It doesn't have to be all pretty pink stuff. We can do, like I said, bright blue coloring with the purple cabbage juice. So you stew down a bunch of purple cabbage chopped up really fine into a saucepan. You take that leftover liquid and you add a pinch of baking soda until it turns bright blue, and then you just reduce that on the stovetop until you get a nice thick concentrate of blue color, and you could mix that through to get the blue. Then you can also make sprinkles from desiccated coconut. So gone are the days of they're called hundreds and thousands. I'm glad I don't even know what those are called necessarily here. But we do not need to be putting petroleum into our children, guys. So hundreds and thousands, anything made with the I guess artificial or natural, I shouldn't say natural, when they're just labeled colors, or even if they're labeled artificial colors, they're normally a petroleum-based ingredient. So instead of, I guess, eating stuff that's not meant to be eaten, I like making sprinkles out of coconut. So obviously we've got nice bright white sprinkles from natural coconut, or we can do yellow. So this was just colored with a bit of turmeric water. And what else did I put in? Turmeric water. And I think that was about it. I just made a concentrated turmeric yellow color. And that one I think was concentrated beetroot, which goes a little bit more maroon than purple. I guess is what you'd think beetroot would.
Smells good.
Yeah.
So we've got some yellow sprinkles, red sprinkles, or bright white. I think these ones need some bright white.
Yeah.
Like a little strategic sprinkles.
Yeah, that looks great.
We definitely eat first with our eyes, don't we? Oh, this is the fun bit. See? My friends that told me or my wonderful healing friends said I just need to play. I think this counts.
Yes, definitely.
A little bit of snow. Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, the green with that.
All different too.
Yes, I love it. I think this one needs to start with a base of snow, and then we'll cover that up after.
Look how beautiful and delicate those are.
They're alyssums. So they actually, look, it's so fresh. There's even an ant on it.
That's
hold
the
it up.
luckiest
Hold it still. Hold it up.
ever.
It's just a little alyssum flower, and they kind of just grow like a weed, and they self-seed as well. There's purple and white ones. And they're Grace's favourite to put on her avocado toast.
Talk about making every day special. I love it. I love it. And talk about getting kids excited about something that's real food related. It's just so cool. Wow, this is definitely the prettiest plate of cupcakes I've ever. I don't even want to eat it. Like, it just looks. I mean, I don't want to eat it because I don't want to wreck it. But that is amazing. So much fun. Okay, so those of you that are watching and doing your own, don't feel like you can't show photos of what you're doing. Please, because I want to see your creations. I want to see how it turned out. I know that the icing thing was something we threw at you, so whenever you create your icings, please, share us, tell us how it went. And I just want to know if those of you that are kind of new to getting off of recipes and learning how to kind of experiment on your own, I just want to hear how it goes, because I'm kind of gently pushing you to swim in the deep end on that one, but it's okay. You'll float. You'll swim. It'll be fine. It's just icing.
Yeah.
Wow, this is amazing.
It's like a garden.
So
It is, isn't it?
I think last but not least, just because it's the day, I heard that I needed to bring one of those out. Not for singing, just for making a wish on. This is where I need my famous singing friends. Oh my gosh, you guys are so amazing. Thank you. And thank you to all of you crew. You have no idea. It's been the most amazing, not quite year so far of Cook With Me Live, and I absolutely could not do it without you guys encouraging me on and being on there and chatting and letting me know how everything is improving in your world. So thank you so much, crew. And here we go. We need to taste it. You actually have to taste it. You can't just not.
When we do it, can we just blow that secret ingredient all over it?
The jar of love. Okay, so how do we do that? We all blow the candle out. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the secret ingredient of love that we're going to add. One, make a wish. Oh. Rose petals everywhere. All right, choose one.
Oh, wow. They all look so good. The one closest.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time on Cook With Me Live.
Bye.